I never knew the Navy had tanks. Let's level up. Ha 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 ha.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the King of Crank. If you've been watching my previous adventures, you know I created a lo-fi mixtape just for anglers. It was called the Ultralight Fishing Multi-Species Relax and Real Lo-Fi Beats for Anglers. In this video, we were trying to level up by doing some ultralight fishing farming and targeting species like fall fish, sunfish, baby northern snakehead, and smallmouth bass. So if you like listening to chill, relaxing music, definitely check it out. It's about an hour long, and it has great visuals of the rapids at the Patuxent River. So definitely check it out if you're in a chill mood and watch me level up doing some ultralight fishing. I'll include a link to it in the description. So today I'm back in my hometown of Virginia Beach, Virginia on Friday, August 15th, 2025. And the goal for today is just to chill, relax, and fish.
That's not my goal. Ha 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 ha.
Not again.
The Big Bank Hank Challenge. Who is Big Bank Hank, you ask? It all started in the 1990s with this little 16-year-old dweeb named Hank Griswold. Hank was a senior at Princess Anne High School where all of his friends had kayaks and boats, and little Hank had none. His high school friends used to tease him about having to fish from the bank.
Hey guys, can I go on your boat and your kayaks today? I don't have one.
Sorry, no can do, bro. No more room on my boat. I'm going trolling for striped bass with a ton of chicks from Bayside and Kellam High.
Yeah, if you don't have a yak, you can't be part of Yak Boys. Yeah, why don't you just go home and just play fishing on your Nintendo? Ha! Pretendo! You can't catch a sheepshead without a kayak or a boat. How else you're gonna get out to Bay Bridge? Swim? Good luck catching Spot and Croaker. Just don't croak.
Whoa, those Yak Boys are mean. Hank found his dad's map and searched every area for some honey holes. That day, Hank told himself, I'm gonna go out and show all of them. Hank climbed over the rocks at Lesnar Bridge and caught a monster redfish and sheepshead from the bank. He then went to Sandbridge and cast it into his fingers bled and caught a 55-inch cobia. His high school friends got back from the trip and only caught toadfish. Hank showed his friends his monster catch.
Hey dweebs, look at this catch. Bank Boys.
His friends were in shock and named him Big Bank Hank. Big Bank Hank now owns 5 Bass Pro Shops that sell nothing but bank and surf fishing accessories. No kayaks, no boats. Hank also takes a ton of chicks to fish from the bank, and he catches and releases into fish grease. In your challenge, all species must be caught from the bank, surf, or shore. Your first species are Spanish Mackerel and Bluefish, over 14 inches.
Okay, I can do that.
Your third species is summer flounder, over 17.5 inches.
Over 17.5 inches? You know how hard that is?
Too bad, so sad. Ha 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 ha. Your fourth species is bull redfish. No puppy drum. Bulls, over 27 inches.
Okay, I got a spot for redfish.
And the last species, sheepshead from the bank, plus catch and cook.
Sheepshead from the bank? How do you expect me to do that?
You'll figure it out. Ha 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 ha. You have 3 days to complete this challenge. If you do, 5,000 XP. If you don't, minus 5,000 XP. Red Dungeon Challenge. Let's level up.
Wow, so it's another Red Dungeon Challenge. The Big Bank Hank Challenge. And I have to target all the species from the bank, shore, or surf. So in order to target Spanish mackerel and bluefish from the surf, I'm headed over to Sandbridge Beach in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Sandbridge Beach is located south about 30 minutes from the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Sandbridge Beach is less crowded than the oceanfront, so I should be able to target these species without any issue. So whenever I approach a beach for surf fishing, I first look out for birds, dolphins, or even fish jumping out of the water. I then search for the points on the beach or the riptides. Riptide or riptide currents are pretty much fast-moving, narrow channels of water that flow away from the shore at the surf of beaches. So this brings a lot of sand fleas and crabs into the water and allow the bait fish to eat. Once you find the bait fish like pinfish feeding on sand fleas, then you find the predators like bluefish and Spanish mackerel. I then search for the sandbars. This is pretty much where there's structure underwater and where you see the waves breaking. You may see a white cap, but that's where the sandbar is. Never cast into the sandbar unless you're targeting stingrays. So don't cast a mile, target the troughs right in front of the sandbars. For my fishing setup, I'm fishing a Shimano Stratic 4000 series reel. For the rod, it's an edge rod, inshore rod, 7-foot fast action, medium power. For the lure, I'm using a 1 1/4 ounce gotcha plug. For the braid, I'm using Suffolk's 832 20 pound in the coastal camel color. And for my leader, I'm using 40 pound Seaguar inshore fluorocarbon. And for the braid to fluorocarbon knot, I'm using an Alberto knot. For the gotcha plug, I start out by doing an upward jig. This allows the gotcha plug to dart back and forth or dance on top of the water. This excites Spanish mackerel and bluefish, thinking that it's a fleeing injured bait fish. There's different ways of jigging a gotcha plug. On piers, you may see fishermen jigging downwards or upwards. Or you can also just reel. It works the same way. Now on this cast, I'm gonna reel at a quick pace. Spanish mackerel and bluefish are some of the fastest fish in the ocean. Let's see if they can catch it.
Got 'em! Did y'all see that bluefish go airborne? Hold up, rewind that back.
Here it comes. Oh, here it comes. Oh.
Like I stated before, the bluefish was feeding on bait fish about 10 or 15 feet off the shore.
Those blues are coming up close to chow down on some shrimp in Menhaden. There you go. Clean them up for the camera. Hey, what are you doing? Don't do that. It's supposed to be catch and release into fish grease. No!
There we go, dolphins. Bring them in. Yeet.
I almost forgot. I received this flaming mackerel of the Virginia Beach oceanfront during my last encounter with Spanish mackerel. It's supposed to give me 3 damage and also hook set luck. Maybe it might cause Spanish mackerel to run. Let me activate it and see if it causes a mackerel feeding frenzy.
That was pretty cool.
This time we're gonna jig upwards in a rapid motion. The Spanish mackerel are a lot faster than a bluefish, so when I jig upwards, the quick darting back and forth or dancing on top of the water will excite them.
Got 'em! Like Fabulous in the Dream said, just put it in a bag.
Hey, make sure you like and subscribe for more leveling up. Great, I just captured a Spanish mackerel and a bluefish, the first 2 fish in the Big Bank Hank Challenge. But let me go after a few more mackerel before I move on to the next species. Now, before you guys get in my comments section saying, "Bro, the king of crank is releasing Spanish mackerel," what a dweeb. No. I caught a total of 10 Spanish mackerel today. I kept 6 and released 4. Also released 3 bluefish.
Oh yeah, and it's time to catch and release into fish grease. I got the hook up. Holla if you hear me.
Now, before I leave Sandbridge Beach, I just want to check out Little Island Pier, which is not too far from there, and throw a few casts of my ultralight gear.
No fishing piers allowed.
Yeah, I know. The good thing about Sandbridge and Little Island Pier is free to fish the pier, and it's only $4 to park all day.
Hurry up and throw that little flounder back. I said monster flounder from the bank. 17 and a half or greater. I want a doormat.
Yeah. Coming up.
Quick intermission.
I come across a lot of tourists at Virginia Beach Fishing Pier that complain about how much it costs to park and fish at the pier. It can range from $35 to $80 on holidays. Here's a tip. Park at Rudee Inlet between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. It's free to park. If you come at 5 a.m., fish Rudee Inlet until about 6:45, then walk the oceanfront boardwalk for about a mile down to the Virginia Beach Fishing Pier that opens at 7 a.m. Fish the pier until 10 a.m. for 3 hours, and you're only out $15 instead of $80 on Labor Day. So hey, get your exercise in. It's only a mile.
And let's level up.
Nah, not today. I'm gonna walk down here. Hold on.
Not yet. Ha 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 ha.
Now it's time to target the 17.5 summer flounder from the bank. Due to commercial fishing on the East Coast, commercial fishermen are allowed to keep the summer flounder no matter the size, but it affects the common fishermen because in Virginia, the limit keeps increasing due to this. The current limit is 17.5 as a keeper flounder. As a kid, my dad used to take my brother and I down to Rudee Inlet and fish the rocks, so I know there's some monster flounder in here. Most fishermen will rarely see or catch a flounder over 13 inches. That's how scarce they are. For my fishing setup, very similar to my Spanish mackerel setup. The only difference is the lure and the jig. For my lure, I'm using a 3.8 inch kayak swing impact fat swim bait in the sexy shad pattern. And for the jig, I'm using a VMC Neon Moon Eye 3/8 ounce jig head. I also lowered the 40-pound fluorocarbon that I was using for the Spanish mackerel down to 25-pound Seaguar inshore fluorocarbon. Since flounder are line shy, this will add more of a stealth profile to the swim bait. Now, since this is an inlet, there are a ton of boats, jet skis, and kayaks coming through this area. So you may occasionally have to pull your line in quickly when a passing boat arrives. So I'm starting out casting out the jig head. So summer flounder are ambush predators. They like burying themselves in the sand or muddy bottoms, and they like waiting on the bottom to ambush small fish, shrimp, squid, and even crabs. This kayak swim bait that I'm using is squid scented, but a lot of people also like gulp minnows because it has a scent. So what I'm currently doing is dragging the kayak swim bait against the bottom, hoping a monster flounder is looking up. One fun fact, when flounder are young, their eyes are on both sides of their head. And when they grow up to become an adult, the eyes move to one side of the head. So if this slow dragging technique doesn't work, I'm gonna go to a slow retrieve. So now I'm gonna cast out and do a slow retrieve, and hopefully a large flounder would ambush it.
You better hope so, or 5,000 XP is mine. Wait, what? Is that a doormat? That is a doormat.
Let's go. Thanks, man.
How big do they get down here?
I've seen people catch like some doormats.
Like 22?
Yeah, like 22. Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely keeper size.
Oh, for sure. You got 16?
17 and a half.
Ours is 19 and a half.
Yeah, the commercial fishermen are tearing everything up.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh yeah.
That's gotta be 18.
Nice size. Let's see.
What you got there? 20 inches.
Yeah.
20. Good
Ooh.
job, bud.
Thanks, man.
You want a picture? Let me get a picture with that.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
man. Yeah, let me get a picture with that. Good job, man. That's sweet. The big ones are here. Those are summer flounder. Yeah, that's a summer flounder there. If they
Yeah.
had big circles, they're called southern.
Oh, okay.
They're called southern flounder.
I was using a kayak. Yeah.
Go, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Let's call that extra chin music 21 inches. Time to grub.
It's time for bull redfish, baby. To target bull redfish, I'm going out to Old Town, Portsmouth. This is directly across from Norfolk Ship Repair and Waterside, Norfolk. Since this area has a lot of naval battleships up for repair, you can imagine how deep the Elizabeth River is. And definitely salute the troops. Both of my parents were retired military. This area is part of Hampton Roads, or the Tidewater area, and it's about 10 minutes from Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Hampton. It's also a great location to target rockfish, croaker, speckled trout, puppy drum, red drum, spot, bluefish, even Atlantic sturgeon. Some tips for this location: parking on the weekdays during business hours is $1.25 per hour, and the meters only accept quarters. But on the weekends and after 7 p.m. on weekdays, it's free to park. Now, normally I'll throw a kayak swim bait or a gulp minnow, but today I want to show some variety and do some bottom fishing.
This fishing location is extremely low key. Now this location is a low key honey hole. Not a lot of people know about it. So if you want more tips and honey hole locations, make sure you like and subscribe. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
So here I'm just hand tying a high-low rig using the 40-pound fluorocarbon. It's cheaper to hand tie your own rigs than having to go to a store and buying them for $3 or $4. I'm also using some 4/0 circle hooks from 6 cents. No need to set the hook when using a circle hook. Sometimes the fish will hook itself, but other times you just simply reel in. Also, I'm using a 3-ounce sinker, but feel free to adjust based on the current speed. Sometimes the current is pretty fast on the Elizabeth River. So for fishing setup, my reel is a Shimano Vanford 5000 series spinning reel. For the rod, I'm using an edge rod, ISR 7-foot medium fast action. And for bait, I'm using finger mullet, topped with a little bit of fish bites just to hold the bait on the hook. You'll see that later on the video. For the rig, I hand tied a high-low rig with octopus circle hooks, 4/0. And my braid is 30-pound Seaguar Smackdown in high-vis green. And for the high-low rig leader, I'm using 40-pound high seas fluorocarbon. Loosening up the drag, and I'll sit back and relax. Now, since I live in DC area, I don't bring a lot of gear when I come down to visit my parents in Virginia Beach, but I do keep a 3-piece bait caster from Daiwa in my trunk at all times. So on this bait caster, I have a couple small pieces of fish bites, and I'm gonna cut up a couple small pieces of mullet and place it on the fish bite hook just to see what I can catch. Live fish or fresh cut bait is actually best. It holds on a hook a lot better than frozen cut bait. So sometimes applying a little bit of fish bite will help hold it on to the hook. As you can tell, this area is extremely deep, even up close. Also beware, there are a lot of sandbar sharks out here as well. This is a good eating size Atlantic croaker.
So if you're sick of catching those tiny croakers at piers, come out to P-Town.
So I just realized I forgot my drop net up in DC. So if I happen to get a hookup, I'm gonna have to use my catfish net. Hopefully it extends far enough. Now I just got some movement on my line. I'm tightening the drag, and hopefully I got something.
Got 'em!
Now at first I was hoping and it wasn't a stingray. I kept loosening my drag a little bit just to give it the ability to run. Sometimes if you have your drag too tight, you will pop at the hook. I was also trying to keep it away from that pylon to the right. Yeah, so right now I'm just waiting for it to tire itself out.
Like Fabulous in the Dream said, just put it in the bag.
Straight up.
Now again, I wish I had my drop net, but let's see if my catfish net works. Since this was low tide, the net did not reach the water, so I had to pull my pole up vertically and hopefully it didn't snap the braid.
Oh my goodness.
Got
Thanks,
'em!
Shoot.
Bro, you having that for dinner tonight?
Nah, I'm gonna throw it back. Can you take a couple?
Hold on. All right, I got you.
Thanks a lot, man.
I never knew the Navy had tanks. Let's level up. Ha 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 ha
A
ha.
little too big to eat.
Whoa, what was that?
I don't know, but it looked cool.
That was fun.
The Navy police just spotted a tank. We gotta get out of here before they use that heavy machine gun. Peace out.
Yeah, let's gear up. 4 down, 1 more to go. Sheepshead from the bank. This is gonna be tough. 4 down, 1 more to go. Sheepshead from the bank. This is gonna be tough. I'm fishing a location I used to fish when I was young. This is Great Neck Bridge on Long Creek. A lot of people may have seen it on boat because there's a lot of fishing boats that leave out of Broad Bay, but they probably have never fished here. I would consider this area advanced. This area is covered in oyster beds, so that means snag city. So if you don't know how to bottom fish around a ton of snags, I would say avoid this area unless you want to lose a lot of gear. But one great fact, barnacles and oysters are a feeding ground for a ton of fish. So what's tough brings great reward. Hold up, I'm giving you all this quality information in honey holes. You're not clicking the like and subscribe button? Should I continue to do it?
Naughty, naughty. Hit subscribe.
All right, since I'm gonna fish for multiple species today, I'm gonna go and catch some bait. So again, I always bring my ultralight gear just in case I wanna get some live fish to throw on a hook. This is a black sea bass. You cannot use them as bait. They do have a limit in Virginia, so you do have to throw them back. But this little pinfish, bait all day. So definitely keep some ultralight gear in your arsenal, just in case you want to catch multi-species of all sizes. Now let's switch over to the sheepshead. I usually start out by chumming the water with sand fleas. Now what makes sheepshead hard to catch is their stealthiness. They can bite your bait clean off your hook without you even knowing it. That's why they have the nickname convicts. They also have teeth that resemble human or sheep teeth, hence the name sheepshead. They mainly only consume shellfish like oysters, barnacles, clams, crabs, sand fleas. The issue about sand fleas, every fish loves sand fleas. Puppy drum, pinfish, and black sea bass love sand fleas. So again, here I'm chumming the water with sand fleas. This should get the sheepshead excited and sticking around in this area. Sheepshead usually hang out near pylons or oyster structures where there's a lot of barnacles. They also like hiding in between the pylons when the current's moving fast. Sheepshead are slightly line sensitive, so here I'm using 25-pound fluorocarbon. For hooks, number 1 or number 2 hooks. Some people like using circle hooks, some people J hooks. For sinkers, I like the clamshell sinker and the teardrop. Using this type of sinker, which is round or clam shaped, will allow you to get out of the oyster beds a little better than a pyramid sinker. I'm going to use a 2-way swivel in my hand-tied high-low rig. And also some people like using sweeper jigs. They are great options because they sit on the bottom and the fiddler crab sticks right up. They also come in a few varieties. Now, as far as fiddler crabs go, this is my Ingle live bait cooler. You can either go out to the marshes of the Chesapeake Bay and catch fiddler crabs at night, or I included a list of Tidewater bait and tackle stores. I know for sure Oceans East and Long Bay Point occasionally have fiddler crabs, so definitely give them a call. I also included a list of shops in the Tidewater Hampton Roads area. So if you're out in Norfolk, Portsmouth, Hampton, Chesapeake, or Virginia Beach, there's a tackle store near you. I usually start out by removing a claw and saving it for later. Sometimes I chum the water using it, but you can also put it on a hook. The benefit about using fiddler crabs versus sand fleas, fiddler crabs are mainly targeted by sheepshead with the occasional toadfish, but sand fleas are targeted by every species. I start by hooking the fiddler crab from the lower back and out the front. This is because sheepshead like eating under the belly of a crab. To prevent snags, sometimes I barely expose the tip of the hook.
Can you fry them crabs?
You're always hungry.
Feed me, Seymour.
Again, I'm going towards the lower back. Some people like going at the back leg or the corner of the crab. Both work fine. So there it is a hand-tied high-low rig. Also for the sinker, I like tying a weak knot for the sinker, just in case I get a hook set and the sinker snag. I can just yank it and still keep the fish.
Is that the popo? Uh-oh. I have warrants when I kept that 80-inch cobia off Buckrow Pier.
So again, you want to target the pylons. Whenever the current's moving swiftly, the sheepshead usually roam within the pylons to avoid the current. Since sheepshead are called convicts, it's very hard to detect their bite. They can snatch your bait off without you even feeling it. Not only that, they can bite the hook and raise your sinker without you even knowing it. So they usually say when your line goes slack, slowly lift the tip of your fishing rod, and then the sheepshead will take off. Right here, I feel a slight bite. And my line is slightly going slack. I feel movement on the hook, and now it's time to set it.
There we go.
Got 'em.
Finally.
Level up.
Look at the hook set on Big Bank Hank.
Whew, I'm finally done with that challenge, and I just leveled up to level 24. I also received some luck and casting strength. Before I go, let me throw out some cut bait and some fish bites. See what I can catch.
Uh-oh. The nemesis of the ocean, Oyster Toadfish.
Yeah, if you're out fishing near structure, you're never gonna get skunked because oyster toadfish is always there. They have big mouths and they bite everything. Someone told me they taste really good.
That's a face only a mother could love. Ooh. Feed me, Croaker. Feed me all night long.
There it goes again.
I wonder if a subscriber saw that. Is that a puppy? Puppy drum. Good eating size. Is that who I think it is?
Make sure you like and subscribe to the King of Crank. Get him to 10 billion subscribers by 2026.
It was him. Ha 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 ha. You heard him. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Also, if you come out to areas like this, make sure you bring a trash bag or pick up your trash at the very end and deposit it. They have fishing line containers and trash receptacles at pretty much any fishing location. Protect the wildlife in the fisheries. Pick up your trash.
That means you too, Ice House and Modelo boys. Time for the Sheepshead catch and cook.
So Sheepshead is really good whole. All you have to do is gut it and remove the scales. Stuffed it with some onion and some lemon. Throw it in the oven for 375 for about 50 minutes. Now, since Sheepshead eats a lot of shellfish, it does have a fish/crab type of taste. It's really good. I broiled it for about 5 minutes just to make the skin crispy.
Look at the deliciousness. Seasoned to perfection.
So that about does it. In the words of Big Bank Hank,
Bank boys.
this video goes to show you can catch great species from the bank. Just search for those quality honey holes and you'll never know what you'll find. Thanks to everyone that watched the full video and those of you that found the Bass Pro Shop gift cards hidden in the video. Shout out to you. For upcoming videos, I'll be back in the DMV targeting snakehead. And then in September, I'll be back in Hampton Roads and Virginia Beach targeting cobia from the bank. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the King of Crank. Let's level up.